I'm John Batchelor. This is The John Batchelor Show. The horrific attack last May in Brussels at the Jewish Museum of Belgium. That attack, and there is video of it, was strange because the man who perpetrated the act walks in, takes out a very heavy weapon, and starts shooting, puts it back in a bag, and walks out. He was eventually arrested, or the alleged shooter was arrested, May 30th in Marseille. His name, Nemmouche. Nemmouche now is at the center of a connection to the Islamic State. And to help me understand this story, Olivier Guita joins. He is a security and geopolitical risk consultant based in London, also many languages. Olivier, a very good evening to you. Nemmouche, I thought that was a bizarre crime that came from out of nowhere because he was so mechanical on the video, walking in, walking out, very slow, no running, just murdering people. And as I understand it, he was picked up almost by accident because he was making his way out of France or to Marseille. But now you tell me there's new information that connects him to the Islamic State and to the worst aspects of Islamic State. What do we know about Nemmouche? Good evening to you.
Good evening, John. Great to be on the program again. Nemmouche was arrested, as you said, by chance. Actually, German police warned the French that he had gotten back to Europe, and then after perpetrating his crime in Brussels, he took the bus overnight to go to Marseille and was picked up by chance by a policeman that was looking at controlling him on drugs. And then when he put his name in the computer, he saw that he was on the list of potential terrorists, and that's how we got him. But at the time, they found in his luggage, on top of the AK-47, a flag of what was called at the time ISIS, now the Islamic State. So there was a connection there. But now, revelations that have been sitting on the fence for the past, I would say, 6 or 7 months before actually his arrest have surfaced. 4 French journalists that were kidnapped and held hostages, along other hostages, most probably including James Foley and Sotloff, were talking this week and mentioned that Nemmouche was cruel. He was basically torturing the French hostages for a few months while they were kept in captivity. What is really interesting is that they all pointed at the fact that he was one of the most cruel persons in there, but also it puts things in context that Islamic State, like Al-Qaeda in the past, have used foreign nationals to be holding their own citizens. So it was making sense for a French national to be in charge of the French hostages. The same goes probably with British, and I suspect that maybe in the future we'll hear about an American jihadist taking care of some of the American hostages.
Olivier, I want to tie this together very quickly, because what you're telling me is that this anxiety, this fear that David Cameron in London and Barack Obama in Washington and other leaders have voiced of the possibility of the foreign nationals in the Islamic State coming back to launch terror attacks in Europe or in America, it has already happened. That's what you're telling me. Mehdi Nemmouche is exactly the case, and it happened last May.
Exactly. And it's interesting that it's the first case of a returning jihadist perpetrating a terrorist act. So whatever people can say and say it's a fallacy to say that this is happening and we're just fear-mongerers by saying this will happen. It has already happened, and you're totally right on that, John.
How many estimates now, as of the revelation on Nuh Moosh, how many French nationals, how many European nationals do we believe are involved in the Islamic State?
As of this morning, the latest numbers in France are above 900 nationals that we know of that are involved in the Islamic State. In Britain, the low estimate is 500, and for Western Europeans and Americans, the low estimate is 3,000. So you can imagine if even half of those people return, and let's say just 10% decide to act on their crazy jihadist views of the world and attack the homeland, how much of an impact and a damage they can inflict.
What have we heard from Paris about this? Has Hollande or any member of the French Foreign Ministry or the Interior Ministry commented on this connection?
Oh, yes, it's been very much the talk over the weekend in France, and the French authorities have actually published also the numbers of people they have convicted and put in jail for jihadist activities, and that number is at 61, just people that they arrested not only on their way to Syria or Iraq, but actually trying to recruit people within France. So, and another terrifying statistic is close to between a third and 40% of those jihadists are women.
This man, Mehdi Nemmouche, he is now in custody. He is accused of a crime in Belgium. Has he cooperated? Do we get? Is there indication that he's given up information about the hostage takers, or since he was one of the torturers, does he have information about where they were hidden? Do you think his information has been used in the attempted Foley rescue?
No, I mean, at first, for the first few hours, he was a little bit cooperating, but then decided to be very silent because he didn't want to be extradited to Belgium. So now he is in Belgium, but what I think may have happened is actually the Americans came to interview in Europe one of the French hostages back in April already to find out where they were held. So it wasn't Nuh Moosh, but actually one of the hostages that actually revealed the information that unfortunately turned out not to be accurate any longer. Had moved the hostages when the Americans tried to save Polly.
The man's name is Mehdi Nemmouche. He's in custody, accused of murdering 4 people in the Jewish Museum of Belgium. Olivier Guite is in London. He's a security and geopolitical risk consultant. I'm John Batchelor. This is The John Batchelor Show.